Bad things happen every day. SHTF is not a specific date. It happens here and there in our lives. Not necessarily catastrophic, but sometimes it's just go time. That's why it's really important, if you're preparing, if you are helping your family and getting things together, that the medical side of your prepping is extremely important. And that's one of the things I love about my good buddy David at USN ER Doc, who owns AMP3. And you know, recently, guys, I just reviewed one of his adventure bags with all the medical gear for a family or a large group. And it was bundled up very nice. It was a gift after our break-in because we had all of our medical gear that we take with us on the go that was stolen. And so he replaced it with this really exceptional bag. And David owns AMP3 medical gear. Now, first off, David is a MD. He is in Portland, Oregon, and he is an emergency room doctor. That's what he does. He was in the Navy for years as a doc. Now he's in an ER as a doctor. He is on the cutting edge, so he knows what kind of gear that you need. You know, he goes with the best and nothing extra and nothing less. And so, you know, you're buying your medical gear from someone, this is a great way to do it. Someone who really knows what they're doing. So with that being said, my good friends I hike around, and that's Michael and Kim. And I've been friends with Michael for a long time, watching his videos. He has an incredible eye for adventure and travel. Just a great site. And I'm going to leave his link right here because I really want you to check it out. But really, it's just a big thanks to Matthew and Kim for sending this incredible gift. And this was, of course, right after our break-in. And it was really nice. We're going to take a look at the AMP3 Ifak. And I turned this around because the price is right on here. And before you start thinking about that, I wanted to get your attention on why you need an Ifak, an individual first aid kit. Again, you know, you have things stocked up in shelves in your bathroom or in some closet, and you really need something on the go. You need something highly organized like this. This little Ifak has everything you need, the essentials, very organized together in this pack. And of course, we have a little MOLLE pouch as well that they also offer. And so having one of these in your truck, having one of these in your shop, at work, wherever you are handy, it's really important. And there's nothing like a lesson learned when it really hits close to home. And I'm going to give you a good example of why I think it's extremely important and why I am certainly glad that I keep these kits handy. Recently I was down on our property, I was down at the creek doing some video work with the Gunner 12, which was a review I did of a very large combat knife. In fact, it weighed a full 16 ounces, weighed a pound. And I was doing an extreme test on that knife. And while I was cutting a branch, the knife, and I was being very careful. In fact, my non-cutting hand was about 3 feet away on this limb. And as I was cutting, I hit a knot, and the knife flew across the limb and hit my thumb. Now, of course, many of you saw this thumb for the past few weeks, it's now healed quite a bit. But a 12-inch blade and a knife that weighs 1 pound could have taken this thumb off really with ease. And it just happened to be a glancing blow, and it cut a large portion of my flesh back. And not to get all gruesome and all that, but you need to really know that these things can happen at any time. That was a little bit of an SHTF for me. It just hit the fan right down there. I had all my camera gear, I had bags. I was about 300 yards from the house. And so, of course, immediately I applied pressure to this thumb and went up to the house. And when I got there, I had not this kit, but I had one of AMP3's little bit larger medical kit that I had reviewed a few months ago. In fact, maybe even a couple of years ago. And I had it handy in a right place. And I knew where it was. I grabbed it. I immediately opened up. It was very easy to get to the products I needed. I was able to get it open and to go ahead and take care of my thumb. Had steri strips in it. I was able to close up the wound. I was able to wrap it up. I was able to put antibiotic ointment on it, obviously, before I did that. I was able to clean it. All the things I needed were in this kit, or in this actually a little bit larger kit, but this kit has all the things that I would have needed. If I had lost this thumb, it would have been even more serious. So these things can happen in a split second. Doesn't have to be any kind of civil unrest, financial meltdown, or civil war. We're talking about just everyday things. If you have kids, it's extremely important for you to have something like this around for those kind of emergencies, because kids are prone to get into that kind of trouble. So we're going to look at this little Ifak from AMP3. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just kind of look at the outside of the kit itself, and it just talks a little bit about it. Of course, you see right here the price is $66. On the back here is a comprehensive list of what is in this kit. And I really love that because you can just go down, instead of fumbling through things to see if something's in there, you can immediately find out if it's in here. Here it is. And one thing that I definitely will make a turn here is for you to know what's in these kits. You buy these kits, tuck them away, put them somewhere. You have no idea what's in them until you have to open them up. That's a dangerous way to go. So we're going to open this up. It has a nice bag that keeps this all watertight. But then, and that's just the packaging. Now we have it in a lock sack. And this is, you know, if you know anything about the lock sacks, they're incredible for keeping water and keeping this sealed from the elements. It's going to protect the pads and everything else for a lot longer than a standard Ziploc bag. And AMP3 uses lock sacks for a lot of their stuff. So it's just a really first-rate way to go. Listen, I'll tell you what, guys, I know $66 to some people seems like a lot, but I'm going to tell you, it's much better than a $3,000 hospital bill or a stay in a hospital because you were unable to treat that wound. Okay, first and foremost, there's an injury note here. This is to give information about what you've done to the patient or yourself. So this is personal medical information. They may not be able to speak, and once 911 gets there, this will really help them to diagnose what has gone on. Plus, you can see what's happened. You can even make notes of what you've seen. So this really assists the doctors way ahead of time and the medical personnel and the professionals. Now here is the wound care module number 1, and it has a list of the things that are in here. Moleskin is a lifesaver. It may not seem like it right here, but I'll tell you, if you've ever been camping or on a large hike for an extended amount of days, this is a lifesaver. You start bringing a blister up on your foot or on your hand, and this is amazing. There are 3 Advantage gauze sponges. Then we have some non-adherent pads so they won't stick to the wound. Then we have a combine pad that is latex free. Also field towels, and these are unscented. And we have a face shield for CPR. And guys, once you go through your contents, make sure that you put everything back like it was. For the wound care module number 2, I'm not going to go through all this. They're fabric bandages. It's 2 2x4 large bandages, 2 knuckle bandages, 2 fingertip bandages, and 4 3/4x3 strip bandages. Now we have the irrigation module, and I am going to open it. We have an irrigation syringe. Then we have the Zero Wet irrigation tip. This is not for the eye, but it's to put locally over a wound to keep other areas from getting wet. And this is really important in cold conditions. We have povidone iodine prep pads. We have 1 liquid skin glue and then 2 tinctures of benzoin. And of course we have medical's tape and a stretch ace bandage. Black nitrile gloves that are latex free. Now one thing to remember about your gloves is not only does it protect you if you're helping someone else, but if your hands are dirty, you can put your hands in these gloves and it'll protect your own wounds if you're taking care of yourself from getting dirt and grime in them and a less chance of infection. And then we have the medication module with all the generic Advil, Tylenol, Zantac, Benadryl, and your nausea, dizziness medication. Then we have the tool module. Now in the tool module we have a pair of scissors, tweezers, a razor, pencil, safety pins, duct tape, splinter out, sterile alcohol prep pads, and antimicrobial hand wipes. I love the attention to detail by capping this pencil to keep it from piercing the bag. I just about had an SHTF because I grabbed that blade. Here you have a highly organized kit that anyone can find and be able to use very efficiently. And that's really important. If you have just a standard kit with items stuffed in it, people are going to have to search around. They're not going to know what they're looking for. They're not even going to know how to use it. This will at least give you a lot of information. And when it's a lot of stress on you, it's even more difficult to decipher what needs to be done. So just an incredible, highly organized kit. Now the lock sack is leak proof and airtight. So make sure you get a good seal on this bag. Now I would highly recommend putting your Ifak in one of these bags because they're MOLLE compatible, they can go on your belt, but more importantly, this protects the plastic, it protects the goods in here. These can be pierced with a sharp object and can be contaminated and can get wet. And when it's packed correctly, it can slip very easily in this bag. Get yourself one of these Velcro crosses, and they know it's a medical kit. So make sure you check out amp3.net. And there's a lot of different type kits on there to suit many needs. Remember guys, you really need to invest in good medical gear, because when your personal SHTF comes, this is going to be worth its weight in gold. Even though there's a lot of bad things being done by bad people, they're still outnumbered 100-to-1 to the good guys. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And this is the line 9. And this is a line. Then we have the zero wet then we have the zero wet for the wound care module. And then we have a compound pad. Okay. We have 2 tinctures of benzoin. We have liquid skin glue, and then we have tincture of benazine. Tylenol. What's that called? It's the generic. Now, I'm not going to pronounce all the official names, but my wife, who's an RN, loves to pronounce these. I'm just a gun guy.